Hi, I'm Mike Scantlebury. I'm an author, a writer. I write mainly crime fiction, action adventures, murder mysteries, and thrillers. And people say to me, Mike, I don't understand. You're always banging on about how you're trying to do things differently and how you're trying to be new and innovative. You keep saying you new, all the ideas you've got, they're all new, they're all new. And what I remind people is that even though some of my ideas are new and a bit different, they're in the same tradition. I started when I was a teenager reading Raymond Chandler and Ross MacDonald and reading the Maltese Folk and being inspired by that kind of book. And so the one thing I've got in common with all those, that tradition, is you'll find that in all my books, my hero or my heroine in the first chapter is given a job. Now, they're not private eyes. I don't write private eye fiction like Raymond Chandler used to do. I don't even write detective fiction. I write a series called Micky from Manchester. It's not Inspector Micky from Manchester. He's not a policeman and he's not a private eye. He's just a retired military person who keeps getting involved in different scrapes and is sometimes employed by the government to help them out. But the one thing that links me to the great tradition of those previous writers, the thing that I'm trying to live up to by emulating those writers, is that in chapter one, you'll always find something happens and my hero or my heroine, like Amelia Heartless, is given a task, given a problem to solve, given a murder to investigate. And for the rest of the book, the story follows from there. And so, in some ways, it should be reassuring when you pick up one of my books and you open chapter one, you don't have to think, well, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder where this is going to take me. I wonder what new worlds I'm going to be exploring in this. At least you've got the reassurance of knowing that I've read all those books in the past, and I'm sure you've read all those books in the past, and therefore I'm not going to try and break the mold every time I write a novel. But what I am going to do is I'm going to push it a little bit towards a new boundary. I'm going to just give it a gentle nudge to places perhaps where you haven't been before. And that's why, although my books are based around the Manchester and Salford area, what I say is I get the geography right. So if Micky from Manchester walks down Chapel Street in Salford, then there really is a place called Chapel Street. And if he passes by Salford Central railway station, there really is a place called that. But then what happens to him after that? And the people he meets and the adventures he has are imaginary, or they're a combination of things. They are not realistic and based on the real Manchester that's outside my front door. They're a combination of a place, which is real, and my imagination, which is not real. And I hope that really settles things for you to think that my books are worth a try because they're not going to be so baffling that when you open it to chapter one, you're not going to be thinking, I just don't understand what's going on. There is that tradition which says you will immediately see that there's a protagonist, that they're facing a problem, and what is bound to happen is that things can get worse before they get better. Perhaps one problem will lead to another. Other people will get involved. Our hero, who's a regular feature of the books, the series of books, will meet new people along the way, will perhaps meet new threats, new adversaries, will face new challenges, and yet probably will persevere with the help of some of their friends and their colleagues and characters that you may well have met before in the series, because that's the way the great tradition of private eye books and detective stories right back to 1930s and 40s and 50s. Ross MacDonald was writing in the 50s and the 60s, and I can't possibly write to his standard, but I can take ideas from him and inspiration from him and try and get to that level. And if you've read his books, then you will understand where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to trip you up or baffle you. I'm just trying to take you into areas, arenas that perhaps you haven't been in before, and to think about things that perhaps you haven't thought about before. I see that as my mission in life. I'm here to entertain, and I'm here to offer some thought provoking things. I'm not here to convert anybody to any particular religion or political belief or way of looking at the world. I offer facts rather than opinions, and I don't offer my truth and expect you to go along with it. I offer things for you to think about. I'll put things out on the table, and whether you pick them up is completely up to you. So I'm a modern writer, but I'm writing in a grand tradition, and I hope that my contribution may very well be remembered in years to come, not as an oddity, but merely as a branch on the tree, the great tree of entertaining mystery thriller novels that goes back 50 or 60 years. My name's Mike Scantlebury, and that's what I've got to offer.